Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Susan Haysom.
And I'm Jessica Straight. The Buena Vista School Board is taking heat from parents surprised by the announced closing of the before and after school daycare program at Kling Elementary School. We're now joined live from the newsroom with Morgan Holt, who has more on why parents are so upset. Good afternoon, Morgan.
The daycare program at Kling Elementary is scheduled to close next Friday. Several parents and teachers are angry that they weren't notified of the closing until after the decision was made. Many found out by reading the newspaper, and some even from Facebook. Kling parent Terry Fairchild said that she is angry at what she feels is a lack of communication between the school board and parents and teachers. The 20 to 25 Kling daycare students will be transported to the daycare program at Enderley Elementary. Kling daycare employee Tracy Montgomery said that she is worried that the children at Kling will not be able to adjust to the larger program at Enderley. She said that there are several children with attention deficit issues who currently receive the attention they need in Kling's program. Parents and faculty feel their daycare should at least be given until the end of the school year before closing. Back to you, Susan.
The Lexington Planning Commission and the Architectural Review Board are at odds over a proposed change to the city's sign ordinance. Lexington does not allow phone numbers or website addresses to appear on storefront signs. The Planning Commission is recommending that this ban is outdated and needs to be brought into the 21st century to allow businesses to plug their websites. But the Architectural Review Board believes downtown Lexington should stay true to its historic roots and retain the current ordinance. The change that the Planning Commission has recommended will now go to the Lexington City Council.
Republican nominee for the 25th District Senate seat, T.J. Aldis, isn't intimidated by Democrat incumbent Cree Deeds' political experience. T.J. Aldis is a 41-year-old Republican who has never run for political office. His opponent, Democrat incumbent Cree Deeds, raised over $16 million in his 2009 gubernatorial bid and has been in state politics for 20 years. Aldis is a Charlottesville tax attorney who was the first person to challenge Deeds since he became a state senator in 2001. Aldis criticizes Deeds for focusing on statewide viewers too much instead of focusing on the district. The 25th district includes parts of Albemarle, Charlottesville, Rockbridge, Nelson, Allegheny, Bath, and Highland counties.
Most importantly, I think that if we create jobs, if we encourage private sector jobs where the private sector it feels like they can create jobs that will allow you to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve, to go out and start your own business or to move forward in ways that will benefit our society.
If Aldis wins the election, the GOP will be 2 seats closer to having a majority in the Senate.
Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, a look at the candidates running for Rockbridge County Sheriff.
There are 3 candidates running for Rockbridge County Sheriff. Reporter Deandra Spichak got to know more about them and their platforms.
Election day is only a few days away, and the race for the Rockbridge County Sheriff is getting a lot of attention.
It's been my life since summer, walking. Lost several pounds and probably have the best legs now in shape that I've ever had in my entire life.
Talking to as many people as I can, knocking on doors, talking to people on the street.
Vernon Reynolds, Roger Clark, and Chris Blaylock are all vying for the position. Current Sheriff Bob Day is retiring after 20 years. Day has publicly endorsed Blaylock, the chief sheriff's deputy.
You know, being the second in charge at some point, I just assumed at some point I would step forward and run.
Blaylock has worked at the department since 1986, moving up from a jailer to investigator to chief deputy, a position he's held for 19 years. Now he wants to take on a larger role.
I think the sheriff needs to be out front in the community. I think he needs to take a leadership role in law enforcement issues and always be accessible to the public and available at all times.
Rockbridge County native Roger Clark started as a dispatcher for the cities of Lexington and Buena Vista. He now serves as the administrative assistant for the Lexington Chief of Police.
I like to help people. I'm known as a problem solver. You bring me a problem, I try to take care of it. But I like working with the public.
Clark wants to see a central dispatch system, more information sharing among agencies, an improved drug task force, and an accredited sheriff's office. Also a Rockbridge native, Vernon Reynolds always wanted to be the sheriff. Reynolds' father, Sylvia, served as sheriff for 8 years.
I grew up in the old sheriff's office down here in Lexington on Main Street. From my first birthday party being in there, second birthday party, to give you an idea, I was a fixture in the old sheriff's office.
Reynolds has more than 36 years of law enforcement experience. He'd like to see quicker responses to calls, a larger focus on the elderly, and a consolidation of emergency services. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Deandra Spichak.
Reynolds, a Republican, is the only candidate running with a party affiliation. Both Clark and Blaylock are running as independents. Earlier this week, Rockbridge reporter Deandra Spichak had the opportunity to sit down with retiring Rockbridge County Sheriff Bob Day. He spoke about what challenges might be in store for the next sheriff.
Budget and money cuts, and I think the governor is looking for, well, he's even asked for 3 and a 6% cuts to the budget, and maybe even a 9, and is looking for cutting staff again.
Stay tuned after the Rockbridge Report for the on-record conversation with Sheriff Bob Day.
In another local race, 4 dedicated candidates are running for 2 open seats for Natural Bridge Soil and Water Conservation Director. This little-known position is in charge of approving applications for public grants, particularly for assistance to farmers. Jay Gillum is the one incumbent running against Bernard Goodbar, Ken Moeller, and Margaret Ann Smith. This is the only elected office in Virginia where there is no compensation. 2 candidates are running unopposed for the positions in Buena Vista, and there's currently no one running in Lexington.
We need to do everything
there are 3 candidates in the race for the South River District Board of Supervisors.
Adults and kids up on top of Jump Mountain this past Sunday afternoon after church. And when you get up, you look down, on the valley, how pretty everything is, whether the leaves are beautiful or not, it's still a beautiful place. So we have to, utilize it and manage it correctly or as best of our ability so we can keep giving back to us.
There are 3 candidates in the race for the South River District Board of Supervisors seat. Succeeding current Representative Carol Comstock, Ronnie Campbell, a retired state trooper, opposes the consolidation of the 2 middle schools and wants to bring more businesses into the county. The founder of Hull's Angels, Eric Sheffield, is running for the 2nd time and said he will focus on jobs and taxes if he is elected. Gene Tillis, already active in the Economic Development Authority, said he wants to help the county economically without strip malls and the clumping of businesses.
I've been going door to door, trying to knock on the door of every voter in the district, and with the economy the way it is, jobs and taxes are the 2 biggest concerns you hear, and obviously keeping the taxes low is one of my top priorities, and improving our economic development. One of the big concerns is that kids who grow up around here, it's very difficult to find a good job if they want to stay in the area.
And the landowners around around the interchange, I'm close with. I know many of them, and they encouraged us in wanting to look at this thing, and the way I see it, as developing a master plan so we do not wind up with just helter-skelter development. I don't want to use any examples, but you can see what happens with strip development if you look at, for instance, Greenville Avenue in Stanton, where you wind up something here, just a hodgepodge of things, whereas I'd rather see something more concise and something that fits with the agricultural nature of Rockbridge County.
It's all community oriented, trying to do what's in the best interest of the community and make life more comfortable for people that live here, which is the same as dealing with our students. I always looked at when I dealt with the school board, I always looked at our first priority was definitely the students. Then we looked at, in my mind, the faculty and the taxpayers. I grouped them together because when you go to talking about faculty, most of the thing that you're talking about is usually pay raises. But when you talk about pay raises for teachers, you also have to think about the people that's going to be paying it. So I kept the faculty and the taxpayers together. And then our maintenance, our buildings and grounds, was below them. As a supervisor, I would be looking at the taxpayers and our employees that work for the county. And then your grounds and your maintenance programs after that.
Coming up next, a new nonprofit group is planning to feed the hungry in Rockbridge County. Community Table is a new nonprofit organization that wants to help eliminate hunger in Rockbridge County. Its main goal is to provide people in need with 3 to 5 healthy meals each week. Billy Crosby has more.
Community Table has been in a planning and fundraising phase since it gained nonprofit status in April. It received kitchen appliances and food through donations from different organizations and members of Rockbridge County. Community Table President Russell Tompkins believes this is a much-needed service.
You see multi-generations now occupying the same home and 1 or 2 paychecks that are looking to support 2 or 3 families. And what our mission is to really help them so that some of the pressure is taken off, so that they're able to consume 1, 2, or 3 healthy, nutritious meals per week.
Community Table doesn't currently have a location for a dining room. There's a possibility it will rent the downstairs of the old Lexington Rescue Squad building. The local food pantry recently moved into the building's upstairs. Director of Public Relations David Wolf says both organizations look forward to working together to feed those in need.
RARA serves a fairly substantial community of need, and we think that, and it's actually pretty close to 50-50 between the 2 major cities in the county, that it would be a good stopping place and certainly a great place to go.
Community Table hopes to have their first meal by the beginning of 2012. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Billy Crosby.
Wolf said that it will also bring in area chefs to teach people how to prepare their own meals. Community Table will work closely with RARA and Campus Kitchens when it opens. Stay tuned to the Rockbridge Report for the 5-day forecast and to hear how the local football teams fared in last week's contest, and see what's on tap for this weekend.
Last Friday, Rockbridge County High School fell to the visiting Northside Vikings. Poor weather led to the low-scoring affair that the Vikings won 19-6 to remain undefeated in the season. The Washington and Lee Generals also played in the sleet last Friday and came out victorious, downing Catholic 49-13. Charlie Westfall led the way, accounting for 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air and 1 on the ground. The Generals head to Hampton-Sydney this Saturday for the conference matchup that will determine the ODAC championship. VMI traveled down to Charleston to take on the Citadel in the Military Classic of the South. The Citadel triumphed 41-14 and retained the Silver Shacko Trophy. VMI senior running back Chaz Jones rushed for 112 yards and a touchdown for the Keydets. VMI will travel to Lynchburg to take on the Liberty Flames in a Big South Conference tilt this Saturday.
It will be a crisp and beautiful weekend here in Rockbridge County. Showers will dampen the Friday morning commute, but should give way to sunshine and a high of 64 in the afternoon. Saturday will still have sunny skies with a high of 54 and a low of 35. Sunday will be partly cloudy with a high of 59 and a low of 43. Monday will be warm with mostly sunny skies and a high of 68. Rounding out our 5-day forecast, the warm weather will stay through Tuesday with another high of 68 and a low of 51.
Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm Susan Haysom.
And I'm Jessica Straight. Check us out online at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. And stay tuned after the show for the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report with Rockbridge County Sheriff Bob Day.